Boston Red Sox did it. They won a series. But there's still 8 games under 500. But you gotta start somewhere. Here's what we're talking about in this video. So we'll have post-game reactions from game 1, 2, and 3. We'll talk a little bit about the series as a whole, and then we will preview what is to come in the Orioles series. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video, and I hope you enjoy. 10 games under 500 for the first time since 2020. It is currently 11:01. I made 2 videos about this game, one about me missing and mourning Brendan Bernardino, and another one of me crashing out over this game in one breath. So I think from that you can kind of get an idea of what happened in this one. I would rather watch Brayan Bello implode in the first inning and struggle to get through it than watch an opener who is not a real opener because we don't have one continue to just mess it up. Samaniego would start this first inning off with a strikeout. Then 6 straight hits and luckily only 4 runs. Luckily, it would end after that. He has a 1.04 ERA as a reliever, so I want him on this team. I want him as a low-leverage guy coming out of the bullpen. I don't think he's ready for that high-leverage stuff. He kept getting put in those situations, and it just never was pretty. So keep him as a low-leverage arm, and he is perfect. He did only have 2 starts in AAA as a starter. I know I was pretty heavy on him being a opener. I was really excited for it. I was intrigued to see how it would run, and now we know. But I wish, because again, you never know until you try. But I wish we didn't have to be in this situation. I wish Brayan Bello could just figure it out and figure out how to pitch without needing an opener. Anyways, I digress. We're going to go back to Bello, though, because this start for him was the best of the year and one of the best starts of his career. I mean, I guess technically it wasn't a start, but whatever. 7 shutout innings with no walks for the first time in his career. It only took him 63 pitches to make it through 7 innings. Why can't you just pitch in the first inning and do that too? He was most efficient in my eyes towards the end of the game. Had a lot of traffic in earlier innings, but in the 8th, he only needed 8 pitches. And as I said, only needed 63 pitches to get through 7, 11 whiffs, 5 strikeouts. Changed up his arsenal a little bit. It was working well, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see if he keeps it that way. He did also get his 500th career strikeout in this game. He now has a .71 ERA and 25.1 innings pitched as a bulk reliever. Why can't you just pitch in the first inning? Because we don't have an opener. Anyways, top of the 5th. The Sox would get a rally of their own and score 3 runs. You had Gasper getting his 2nd hit of the night. You had IKF continuing a 4-game hit streak. You had Caleb Duran having an RBI double. You have Jarren Duran with an RBI sac fly. But the hit that was the most important hit of the night in my eyes, at least, was Marcelo Mayer having an RBI single off of a changeup. That is a big deal. Being off a changeup is a big thing because he has been struggling with changeups all year. Let's talk about his stats coming into this game, okay? This is not including the hit in this game. 25 at-bats, 1 hit, which came in Game 2 versus the Braves. That was the first hit he had against a changeup all year. 10 strikeouts, meaning 40% of the time that is his put-out pitch. That is a pitch you're striking out with, and he had an average of .040. I mean, I'm glad to see him finally have 2 hits against changeups in the last 3 games. I'm hoping that trend can continue because he's been having some ugly at-bats recently. So yeah, as I said, the Sox would make it a 1-run ball game, and it would stay that way, but they would get some traffic on the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. They'd have runners on. In the 8th inning, they had runners on the corners, but, you know, obviously nothing would happen. And going back to that 9th inning real quick, you had IKF getting on with a single. Then you had Marcelo Mayer, 3-pitch strikeout. You had Caleb Duran with a strikeout. And Jarren Duran. Oh my God, this strikeout by Jarren Duran. First, he would have a pitch that he should have challenged. If it is 2 outs in the 9th inning, you are not going home with that challenge. If it is anywhere near where you think, oh, that's probably a ball, challenge it, because now you're down 0-1 in the count. He fouls one off. Now he's down 0-2. The 3rd pitch of this at-bat, can you even count this a swing? I don't think you can even count this a swing, even though obviously he did swing through it, but I don't think he would have hit a wiffle ball with that swing. So that kind of explains that at bat. I am a fan of Duran, okay? I want that to be known, but I hate him in these big moments in the 9th inning with 2 outs. Has he failed every single time this year? I feel like there hasn't been a moment in the 9th inning with 2 outs where he's actually done something that I can remember at least. I feel like it's just always have been ugly strikeouts when he's in this situation. Against the Guardians, closer, he was 2 for 2 with a double and a triple, yet he could not come up. In every at-bat in these situations is just so ugly. What a shocker, they can't score at the RISP towards the end of the game, but they actually out-hit the Guardians 11-10 in this game. They did not work a single walk. The Guardians pitching staff threw a strike 73% of the time. You gotta get at least one singular walk. One more note on this game. Why is it every single time it is going to be a close play at the plate? An outfielder for the team the Red Sox are playing has a perfect throw home every single time. It is a perfect on the dime, on the money throw. It is never They're just unlucky and they suck. So, yeah, anyways, I'll see you tomorrow, of course, because I'm insane and I watch every single game from first pitch to last pitch.
24 hours later.
The Boston Red Sox win a ball game. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But this is giving me major flashbacks to the Braves series. You lose in a heartbreaker, you win in blowout fashion, and then hopefully you do not get blown out tomorrow. Tanner Bybee is not a good pitcher. He's coming off an outing of 7 earned runs with 5 bombs. So the offense better get to him. Let's just say that. But we'll focus on that tomorrow because we have a game to talk about. 9-1 was this win. It did start off ugly. It would start off ugly. I honestly did not think they were going to win this game at points. They would have runners on second and third with 1 out to start this game. Shout out Sandy Rafaela. He had turned an 11-pitch at-bat into a walk, and then Willie Ray just continues to mash against lefties. He really saw that Rob Refsnyder was no longer on this team. It was like, someone's got to fill the role. Someone's got to do it. So obviously, yeah, they'd get nothing out of it. Then the Guardians would come up, immediately a leadoff double, and then an RBI double. I was like, oh boy, here we go. But that'd be the only one of the game, so... Then in the fourth, you would have a trio who I never thought would be the ones to score the first run of the game, but you had a Montecero double, an IKF single to extend his hit streak, and then you had Duran for his 3rd straight game picking up an RBI. Did not expect that trio to do well and score the first run of the game, but I'm not complaining. Oh my god, the 6th inning. What is with 6 innings? Why do 6 innings always feel like they're so traumatic? But Connor Wong had a home run. He did a stride around the bases. It was called a home run. He put the Wally head on for the first time ever because he hasn't had a home run since August of 2024. It was all exciting. I was like, oh my god, there were tears in my eyes. I was so proud of him. They call it back. They call it back. He was robbed. He was robbed. He was robbed. He was robbed. He was robbed of a home run, and it just really hurt my heart. And let's talk about Sonny Gray because he would go 6 innings of some great pitching. This swing and miss stuff is back, and I'm so grateful for it. I was really scared. It was so good. 7 strikeouts, 14 whiffs, 8 on the sweeper alone, which was nasty today. He did change up his arsenal a little bit. Barely used his sinker and cutter, up the usage on his sweeper, curve, fastball, and changeup. Velo was up across the board. His spin on the ball was up a little bit. And he kind of had a similar start to Barry yesterday where we'd get runners on earlier in the game, have some traffic, but was at his best in later innings. Retired his last 7 straight batters and struck out the side in the 6th. Phenomenal. Then in the 8th, IKF and Duran would team up to make it a 2-run ball game. And that hit Duran had was off of a sinker, which he has a -6 run value against this year. He got outside help from someone that was not in the organization with his hitting, and he has looked like a new man ever since. I mean, it's kind of funny and sad they need to go outside of the organization, but do what you gotta do because I am liking what I am seeing. And then after not getting a single walk last night, the Red Sox would load the bases without getting a hit, and then they would walk in a run. Shout out Masataka Yoshida right there. Connor Wong has only played in 4 out of the last 16 Red Sox games, and he must have taken that personal because he would pick up his 3rd RBI of the game and sit Chapman back down. Chapman hasn't pitched in 10 days, which, I don't know, that doesn't really concern me. He's the oldest Chapman. He's superhuman. But I just can't believe Connor Wong is the one to sit him down and to basically blow this game open. And then the offense would not end there, which is kind of crazy to me because to begin this, I'm like, oh, they have bases loaded. Yeah, they're going to hit into a double play and the weak little ground out. It's going to end the inning. But no, we had that Connor Wong hit. We had Mossa working a walk. And then we had Jarren Duran after an 0-2 count against the lefty, hitting his 8th home run in the month of May. Let's talk about his stats in the month of May. 125 plate appearances, 112 at-bats, 12 runs, 29 hits, 4 doubles, 1 triple, 8 home runs, 21 RBIs, 9 walks, did have 38 strikeouts, 5 stolen bases, 2 hit by a pitch, 259 average, a 320 on base percentage, a 527 slug, and an 847 OPS. And I know what you're thinking. Those are phenomenal stats. Do you want to hear stats from the months of April and March? a 154 average, a 389 on base percentage, a 154 slug, and a 543 OPS in the month of March. In the month of April, a 172 average, a 200 on base percentage, a 264 slug, and a 464 OPS. So that is some big improvement. Honestly, was kind of concerned of how they were going to use the bullpen in this game because Guerrero would only pitch for 2 outs in the 7th, and then Slayton would come in, but Slayton would look phenomenal pitching for 4 outs, and I was kind of worried about that, but he's gained my trust back a little bit. And then you had Danny Coulomb remembering how to throw strikes. What a sight to see. Before we get into tomorrow's game reaction, just some final notes on this. They left 11 runners on. Did have 11 hits, finally worked some walks, did strike out 10 times. And the GOAT of the game in my recap was a trio I never expected it to be. And I kind of also just want to touch on ABS with this team real quick, because obviously we had that situation with Duran yesterday. I had some more situations in this game, but it didn't really impact the game that much because they won 9-1. But I just want to talk about these stats real quick. They've challenged 42 pitches this year. They have won 15, and they have lost 27. That means 36% of the time they are winning their challenges. That is second to worst in the league. Per the MLB's criteria of what they consider a reasonable pitch to challenge, they've seen 175 of those pitches this year. They've challenged, in fact, 27 of them, meaning 15 of the pitches they've challenged this year have been deemed unreasonable. 64% of the time, they challenge a reasonable pitch. That's actually only 13th worst in the league, which is a crazy thing to think about. ABS is there to help them, but I feel like it's just hurting them. My only thoughts going into tomorrow is don't make Tanner Bybee look like a Cy Young candidate like you did with Dustin May. Thank you.
24 hours later.
Game 3 just ended, and yet again I was put through every emotion humanly possible. They didn't really make Tanner Bybee look like a Cy Young candidate, but I do wish they got him a little bit more, but a win is a win, and we won the series. Wow. I didn't think I'd be sitting here saying that, but it's so funny because I complained so much about their usage with ABS last night, and they were phenomenal with it today. Their best game of the year with it thus far. They had 6 challenges, won 4 of them, and lost 2 of them. And one of the ones that they lost was just one that it was only last pitch of the night. Durbin just challenged it for the heck of it. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. You're not going home with the challenge. Might as well challenge it. Let's get right into this game because that is what Jarren Duran would do. He would hit his 9th home run in the month of May. We talked about his stats in the month of May last night. I hope they can just keep a calendar in the clubhouse that just stays on May so he can stay hot because I'm loving it. He has a 6-game RBI streak, an 8-game hit streak, 10 home runs on the year now. He also has the 2nd most home runs in Red Sox history at the leadoff spot with 11. He just passed Jacoby Ellsbury, who had 10. Suarez would load the bases in the bottom of the 2nd with no outs, and the hit by the pitch that would load the bases, I don't know how that was hit by a pitch. It raised his elbow pad. He turned to the ump and said, "Oh, it hit me." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it did. Go to the base." I'm sorry, what? 2 runs would score from there, but some nice defense would get him out of it. Sox would load the bases in the 4th, trying to do the same thing, and they did. They were scored 2 runs and tie right up. I was like, oh, okay, we're scoring with the RISP. That's what I like to see. Yeah, but then Massa was not having that. No, he didn't like the idea of a lead. I don't know why we put him in left field. I don't know why we're putting him in the field. He's a DH on a good day, and that is it. He's nothing but a DH in my eyes. At least I get St. was out of the lineup due to some sore back issues. But, oh my God. I can't watch him play left field. It's just every time a ball goes to him, my heart stops. And this game was the exact reason why he would lose the ball in the sky. And in my head, I'm like, oh, wow, the sun's pretty bright off his glasses. Maybe that's it. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The broadcasters on Nessa would confirm that and say that the sun was not anywhere near him. So I don't know, man. I don't know why we keep putting him in the field. But I'm so mad about this because then Suarez would get flustered and another run would score. Suarez would have such a good stat line if Massa could just catch a routine fly ball. I just wish Massa could recharge those runs. That's it. That's all I wish for. Let's talk about Suarez's stats because they're phenomenal. His curveball in this game, oh my God. 10 swings, 8 whiffs. 17 whiffs on the day. 10 strikeouts. And this one, it only went 5 innings. He did change up his arsenal a little bit in this one. You had more curveball because it was working, obviously. You had a little bit more of his cutter, a little bit more of four-seam fastball, less sinker, less changeup, and slider usage was basically the same. The 7th inning, oh my God, I felt like I was playing. I felt like I was out there on the field. I was so stressed out just sitting on my couch. I was so nervous. I was just desperate for anything because they would load the bases with 1 out. Gasper would strike out. Then you had Willie Ray in a 3-2 count. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And the Guardians thankfully used up all their challenges, and for once, ABS would help the Sox, and they would be put on with a walk, meaning that a run would score off that walk, and that game would be tied. And then after that, they would just have an insane 7th inning 2-out rally. You had Masataka Yoshida deciding that he did like the fact that the Sox should maybe take the lead. He'd make up for those 2 runs he gave up. You had IKF extending his hit streak to 7 straight games. And you had Caleb Durbin continuing a 4-game extra base hit streak and a 4-game RBI streak, getting the first triple of his career. To see those 3 go off with 2 outs in critical moments of this game to take the lead and basically blow it open for the Sox, phenomenal. Giovanni Moran would be accredited the win for this one, which is just such a funny thing to me because all he did was pitch for 4 outs, and I get how that rule works, but it's just so funny to me. Then you had Greg Weiser looking like a major league pitcher. Aroldis Chapman also did pitch in this game because, as I said yesterday, he hadn't pitched in 10 games with an off day tomorrow. He kind of needs to get in there to get some reps in. He would trip over his own feet, and my life flashed before my eyes, but he was fine. So we don't got to talk about that anymore because I was petrified. Every single person in the lineup had a hit in this game. And when they put this lineup out there, I'm like, wow, you don't have Contreras in there, you don't have Rafael, you have all 3 catchers in there. But they got the job done, and it was phenomenal to see. Really got to the Guardians bullpen in both games that they won in this series. They are now 9-3 in their last 12 road games. Can we just play every game on the road? I do have to mention, though, since the meteor explosion, the Sox are 2-0 with 18 runs, averaging 9 runs a game. Now let's quickly speed run through their total stats from this series. They had 21 runs, 34 hits, 2 home runs, 27 strikeouts. They gave up 9 runs, and their pitchers also delivered 33 strikeouts. As a team, they batted .304 with an .804 OPS, averaging around 9 strikeouts a game and 3 walks a game, and also averaged giving up 3 runs a game. Not too shabby. Enough talking about this series, though, because I am very confident in the Sox sweeping the Orioles, which would put them 5 games under 500. So let's get into the pitching matchups, the previews, and all of it. The Sox, I guess, are, unfortunately, heading back to Fenway Park, where they will face the Baltimore Orioles, who are 28-32 and 4th in the AL East. They're coming off a series against the Toronto Blue Jays, where they split a 4-game series and won the last 2 games. Their defense is at the bottom of the league, and on average, they give up 5 runs a game. They don't really have that great of a pitching staff, but offensively, they're in the middle of the league, and I've always liked the young group they had. I mean, they do have the Polar Bear and Pete Alonso, and then they have a young guy like Sam Pizarro, who actually got his first career hit and first career extra base hit against the Red Sox last year. Why do I always remember this? I don't know. It's just something that's like stuck in my brain for some reason. This team is more than capable of sweeping the Orioles because they are facing some not so good pitchers. So let's get into those pitching matchups, shall we? In game 1, they'll see righty Shane Baz, who in 64.1 innings pitched has a 4.48 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, averages around 8 strikeouts per 9, 4 walks per 9, and 1 home run per 9. Opponents have a 267 batting average against him, a 337 on base percentage, and a 781 OPS. He's coming off a great outing in a win versus the Rays where he went 7 innings, did allow 7 hits, but only had 1 earned run and 9 strikeouts. On the mound against him will be Conley Early, who is coming off a career outing of 7 shutout innings against one of the best offensive teams in baseball. And the Sox won that game too, which is fun. In game 2, they'll see righty Chris Bassett, who in 53.1 innings pitched has a 5.06 ERA, 1.58 WHIP, averages around 6 strikeouts per 9, 3 walks per 9. Opponents have a 299 batting average against him, a 376 on base percentage, and an 806 OPS. He's coming off an outing of 6 innings with 4 hits and 1 run in a loss versus the Blue Jays. On the mound against him will be Peyton Tolley, who's coming off an okay outing. It wasn't his best stuff. He got to a high pitch count early, but his swing and miss stuff was there, and it was against a really good offense. He's going to shove in this one. Mark my words. In game 3, they'll see lefty Trevor Rogers, who in 48.2 innings pitched has a 6.84 ERA, a 1.56 WHIP, averages around 7 strikeouts per 9, 3 walks per 9, and 1 home run per 9. Opponents have a 291 batting average against him, a 350 on base percentage, and an 853 OPS. He's coming off an outing of 6 innings with 4 earned runs and 2 home runs in a loss versus the Blue Jays. On the mound against him will be Brayan Bello, who is coming off one of the best starts of his career. For the first time ever, he went 7 shut with no walks. Unfortunately, the Sox would obviously lose that once he pitches a gem, but it just looked like he had his swagger back, and I don't think we should go in an opener with this one. I think he should try to pitch in the first inning because it cannot be as bad as what the openers have been doing. He looked like his normal self out there on the mound. I really want to see him pitch in the first inning, but if they decide to go with an opener, I nominate Guerrero. The Sox actually did play the Orioles at the end of April. They lost in a blowout. Then they had that 17-run win, which was amazing. Fired all their coaches and then won 5-3. 3. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching this video. Follow me on all the socials, subscribe, share this video, like, comment, all those fun things. And I will see you guys after the series.